These two players, not only are they stars, they're in the spotlight, up on stage. Not right now, but kind of in general. But they play StarCraft. So they are stellar and star-related in so many ways. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the red Zerg player for Dragon Kitesy Gaming. Dark. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner in the blue, it's GuMiho. GuMiho, I think a fan favorite among longtime StarCraft fans. He's been around a very long time, playing kind of his own unique brand of Terran. I think more recently he's really embraced a lot of the meta styles, which is generally kind of unlike him. Usually he really breaks the meta, and he still pulls out some really fun strats, some really cheeky builds. And he just has that ability to, I don't know, he's a very versatile player. But he's really tightened up his micro and his macro in the last 6 months or so. He's looked so powerful. It's really sick to see him playing this well, actually. I feel like I say that every time I cast GuMiho lately, but it's so true. GuMiho's been one of my favorite players for a long time. I always root for him. Back in the Towel Terran days, when bits of the Pro League set were falling on his head. Was that Pro League or GSL? I don't know, dude. The good old times. Now he's busting out the 2 Rex Reaper play. This has been a very popular opening in this matchup, but Dark with the early pull. Dark's been liking this against Terran. I feel like this is really good for GuMiho, though, who's going to have a lot more production back at home, has a defense so the CC can't take any damage. And now there's just Lings out on the map that Dark spent money on that are like, I mean, they're just doing nothing. They are doing nothing right now. Dark put himself into an economic disadvantage to hopefully get some damage on the other side of the map, maybe delay a CC, catch a Marine or a couple SCVs. And I feel like this is just great for GuMiho. You see how GuMiho's not even trying to dive in and get drone kills or anything? Dark already did the drone damage to himself. The queens are going to come down now. These are queens without energy. There's no transfuses here. Reaper grenades are going to be very good against this. Bopping these queens back. A third queen does pop, though. And I feel like that's kind of going to be it. It's only 3 Reapers. The Reaper's going to head out. Maybe delay a third base or something. Ooh, ooh, is it time for the Lings? Is it time for the Lings? Oh, this is looking very vulnerable. Oh, did Dark do it? Ooh, let's see. Let's see, GuMiho. Oh, he closes it. He closes the door. Now he wants to build add-ons onto these, which means he's going to have to lift them both. He predicted it. He predicted it. He knew those Lings were around. And Ling speed is finished, actually, which means these Reapers are probably dead. Dark was really hoping to catch these guys. And he is going to find a nice little spot here to try to trade with a couple extra Lings. Also, buying as much time as possible is GuMiho. Getting a couple extra Marines out. Needs to get them inside the wall. But if there's, 4 Marines, 6 Marines inside this wall, the best thing Dark can do here, though, is just hang out outside the wall. I already mentioned it. GuMiho wants to put add-ons onto these barracks. And he can't right now. He actually can't do it. Because if he lifts these barracks, the Lings will get in. But then Dark goes home. Dark, what are we doing, bud? Oh, man. All right, well, GuMiho can fully put these on now. I guess with the Hellions popping out, maybe he was worried about some sort of counterattack happening. And GuMiho is going to counterattack. He is going to go for a 4 Hellion drop while these Marines start getting some upgrades. Oh, Jesus. Or no, it's going to be just a Marine drop. Maybe the Hellion's trying to hit the front at the same time. Cheeky, cheeky. Hellion's going to be on the defense here. And actually, that goes great for GuMiho as those Lings are trying to counterattack. The Queens here, though, putting on pressure onto this medevac. Ooh, an Overlord might go down. Transfuse, no transfuse. These Queens are all off creep. And that also means they can't hit this medevac anymore. So She gets out of there. GuMiho gets some nice little damage done. GuMiho's third CC is done in the main base. And I feel like GuMiho's in a pretty great spot. Building Marauders now, though, it looks like a Roach Wine was spotted, or perhaps just a Roach was spotted. And these Hellions are going to spot that Roaches are on their way. No tanks out or anything, but double Liberator being produced right now for GuMiho. It's not here yet, though. These Hellions, and these Marines, I feel like need to get something done. The Hellion's going to try to get on top of these Lings and help out the Marines a little bit. Roach is hitting the front wall, going to stop these Marines from building two at a time. Bunkers being placed. GuMiho kind of in panic mode right now. Stim definitely not going to finish, but it's buying time for these Liberators to get out. Hellions come back in. They just kind of die willy-nilly, though. I'd kind of love to see them counterattack. Or maybe just hang out in case any Ling reinforcements show up. This is a really nice attack from Dark. GuMiho is not in the best spot in the world. But there's that siege tank. It's finally out. Oh, Dark's going for it. He's going to be taking Liberator shots, though. The Hellions do come back in, get a couple of shots off, and the tank actually really helping out from the high ground. Dark just going to try to avoid that. Bunker getting salvaged. GuMiho's feeling pretty good about a situation here. And Dark back at home is droning up very, very heavily. He's got this third base. The Hellions make their way across the map to do that counterattack damage. They will not get it done. They at least see a bunch of drones at this base. GuMiho kind of knows where he stands here. This is pretty painful for GuMiho, though. Look at how high his money is. He hasn't been able to produce from these barracks at all for a while. He's just now going to be getting into production. He was actually supply blocked for a long time as well, and he's still just barely out of that. Dark looks like he wants to poke through again. He's got a lot of Lings this time. There's no stim on these Marines and Marauders. Oh my god, the Biles hit both Liberators. They both go down. The tanks on the high ground are doing a lot of friendly fire damage. They're trying to target down the Roaches and Ravagers, but the Lings are now on top of them. And with that high ground vision, we're going to see both of those tanks go down, and GuMiho forced to tap out. And GuMiho thought he had it held. He saw the drones being made, but immediately after making those drones, Dark made 40 Lings and then ran across the map to hit once again. No wall going up. And what a painful first game for GuMiho. Damn. Yeah, Dark playing a really good one there. The Roach Ravager attack to kind of counteract that opening. I mean, that was a bad opening for Dark. He 12 pulled, which is meant to get some economic damage done while also being a defense against like a proxy 2 Rags, right? It doesn't need to get a lot of damage done, but just delay on the CC, maybe kill an SCV or two. And instead, those Lings did nothing, even though he was waiting with them for a long time. GuMiho was able to poke and prod with the Reapers, delaying a third base from going down. Dark was kind of pushed into a weird corner in a weird position, and I mean, it's just what Dark does, though. Dark finds himself in a weird position, and he finds a way out of it. And I can only imagine that he's been practicing that solution to that particular problem, because he does like to open with that pool first. We're not seeing it here, though. This looks like perhaps a hatch first. Out of our Zerg player in the lower right-hand corner of Gres Van. Map 2 is Dragon Kitesy Gaming's Dark. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner didn't really get a chance to show his stuff in Game 1 as he was just on the defensive. It is, of course, GuMiho, who's going to, again, go for the low-ground barracks. Now, it's worth noting, we are in the midst of a GSL season. A lot of these players that we have in today's bracket might not be looking to go for the craziest of strategies and bring out their best stuff. They're going to want to keep that a little bit close to the best, right? Any strategy they've been working on for GSL or any other tournaments that are coming up in the near future that they might be workshopping. It's one of the nice things about patches in StarCraft and map changes in StarCraft 2 right now being so seldom is you can plan your builds like 2 months in advance. 3 months in advance. Things just aren't likely to change. So you could just be coming up with builds, and if you don't get to use this tournament, you can use it next tournament. But these guys probably aren't looking to show off any weird strats or any crazy strats. This has been pretty standard in TVZ as an opener. I'm not surprised to see GuMiho going for it. And Dark is not going to be surprised either, because Dark has a Roach Warren. It's a pre-2-minute Roach Warren, guys. This is early. This is early. Remember earlier when I was like, it could be hatch first? It wasn't. The hatchery is on the way, but there's a Roach Warren on the way too. And Dark wants to take advantage of this opening. He wants to punish GuMiho for just going for this 2 racks Reaper opener and trying to hold the low ground. And we might see kind of again why having your production on the low ground is not desirable. There's a reason this wasn't standard for so long. There's a reason that putting your barracks on the low ground has just not been a thing for the last couple of years. This is it. This is the reason. Ranged units. And then you don't have production if they're hitting your barracks like in game 1. GuMiho was floating 700 minerals because he couldn't spend it. He will see this Roach, though, and it's just 1 Roach on its own. Needs a few friends. But these Reaper grenades can absolutely help out and keeping these Roaches back for a little bit. Great target fire as well, damaging this Roach quite a bit. Just delaying Dark, right? Just delaying. So Marines can come out back at home. Bunkers can go down. It's a factory on the way, but it's pretty far away from being done. Dark morphing Ravagers now using these low hit point Roaches, making all this damage the Reapers are doing kind of pointless. Oop, the Ling's waiting for the surround, but the Reapers just jump up the cliff, which turns out to be a great choice. Are the Reapers going to go home? They could kind of hang out outside and try to draw some of the fire of these Roaches. It looks like that's what they want to do. Ling speed is, well, it's not happening. So these Reapers should be able to just kind of poke and prod at the Roaches and Ravagers. Ravagers are going to be a little bit more tough. But we're again seeing this problem here from GuMiho. He can't build anything. These barracks have to lift and float away. There is a Cyclone en route, though. And with no Ling speed, the follow-up isn't nearly as scary. Dark would need to start Ling speed. It's a ways off. So the Roaches and Ravagers run into the bunkers. GuMiho doesn't have a wall anymore, but as long as he holds these bunkers for a while, he can rebuild the wall in a little bit. And this is a much better scenario for GuMiho than last game. At the same time, it looks like the Reapers, yeah, there they are, ran across the map. They're going to kill a few Lings. They kill a couple of drones. And nothing can catch them. Oh my god, they even stopped at third base. This is excellent for GuMiho. This went from fine for GuMiho to really good for GuMiho. Doing this damage, forcing the Roaches and Ravagers back at home. Ooh. One Reaper goes down, but yeah, delaying this base for so long now. It's 5 minutes. Dark's taking that base. There's a third CC that's actually more done than that hatchery. It's in the main, but still. That's not where you want to be as Dark. The Dark's fought his way out of worse situations, but he's certainly behind. He's going to have to get back into this game economically and try to find some way to get into GuMiho's base, to get some damage done, maybe take a good trade with some units. GuMiho's getting into stim, though, getting more barracks on the way here. No starboard, though? It's just full-on barracks and a factory. 1-1 started up, too. Now, we saw the 1-1 last game. I think the game ended before 1-1 ever finished. So GuMiho wasn't able to utilize all of that money spent on these big upgrades. Very powerful upgrades if you have a bunch of bio units out against the Zerg. Having that 1-1 done is beautiful. Dark's economy has been hurt so much by this opening. See, it's in heavy favor of GuMiho, the opening. That, I mean, these Evo chambers are going to be very late. By the time 1-1 starts for Dark, 1-1's going to be halfway done for GuMiho. It's going to be a big window of time where Marines can do a lot of damage. Now, I'm liking this quite a bit for GuMiho. The big thing here for Dark is that Roaches and Ravagers do pretty decently in these earlier game fights against the Stim Marines. just because there's not going to be like an overwhelming amount. But GuMiho's macro is looking on point right now. He's taking this third base. Dark is finally up to that 66 drone count that I think he probably wanted to be at about a minute ago. But there's no fourth base just yet. It looks like he's about to start it. The supplies are dead even at the moment. I think we're heading into a pretty solid mid-game. God, look at that army supply, 41 to 26. Dark with 6 overlords on the way, and that 1-1 started up is about to just build a bunch of roaches, and this is the perfect time to do it. Dark really knows how to time this out, holding just the smallest amount of units until right when he needs them. Now they're all on the way, and GuMiho, I think, is kind of missing a timing here. 1-1 is done. It is not quite done yet for Dark, but if GuMiho waits too much longer, it will be finished. It does look like GuMiho wants to push, but this, again, it gives time for Dark to get these extra roaches out. Dark actually going to jump on a few of these Marines. Combat shield's finishing up right now as well. That might have been what GuMiho was waiting for. But GuMiho pulls back. Oh, I feel like this is the perfect time for GuMiho to push. We see the army supply is very similar, but I don't know, man. Dark's on roaches. Roach army supply is pretty garbage. And there's a Nidus about to pop. Oh, Burrow and Tunneling Claws in the way for Dark as well. Dark is about to get so annoying. And I feel like if GuMiho was on the front pressuring right now, already sieged up, putting pressure on to Dark, it would stop this annoyance from happening. But now Dark is even on upgrades. Dark has the ability to do some big counterattack damage. Nice little stim forward here from GuMiho. I think there's only one siege tank with this, so that tank's not going to be super good as far as an anchor position. But the Marines might not need it. I'll be honest, there are a ton of stim Marines here. The tank siege is up. The Cyclone going to help out as well. This third base is in a lot of trouble, and a lot of roaches are counterattacking for Dark right now. They're not getting a ton of damage done just yet, but we'll take a look at them in a second. This fight might be more important. Ooh, the roaches are burrowing in, trying to get into the juicy mineral line in the natural. They might be able to do it, but can Dark hold back at home? And can he get comparable damage to losing a fourth base? That is pretty huge here. Ravager's going to get targeted down, and then GuMiho will lift up and get out of there, but 10 SCVs are dying on the other side of the map. GuMiho needs to get this SCV production on point. Goes for the scan. Should be able to get most of these roaches in the scan, but there's roaches in the main now as well. A couple Marines here, it looks like. Going to help buy time for the SCVs. Second scan used in the natural. That's all not mules as well. And now Dark is going to counterattack, and we don't have any tanks. He has one siege tank back at home. It's not even sieged up yet. GuMiho does have a lot of Marines, though, and 2-2 just finished with these Marines. I don't know if Dark wants to push up this ramp. In fact, he definitely does not want to push up this ramp. The main base is getting cleared up of roaches, but now there's a Nidus in the main. There are roaches in this Nidus worm. Oh, there's a lot of Marines. Never mind. GuMiho's pretty good here. Going to target down those roaches. Gets the Nidus worm. There's a couple roaches in the corner, though. And it looks like these two are going to draw attention to this third one. Might force another scan when GuMiho has the energy. Ooh, I don't think he realized. These roaches got away. And you know what? GuMiho holds. Oh my god, get out of here. Is there a roach under here? I think there was a roach under here. These three roaches, oh, they're going to be so annoying. GuMiho. Man. Dark's going to drop another Nidus perhaps too. Oops, some roaches sneak in, but they do get killed. With these roaches now, they pop back out, get a few more kills. The SCV count for GuMiho is just not great. Meanwhile, Dark has replaced the fourth. He's got a fifth on the way. Pathogen glands is being built. We might see a hive here pretty soon. Although Dark might just try to go full-on lair tech and not worry about getting that next level just yet. He really likes his hive usually. But I think this is a scrappy enough game where he might just delay it. That being said, 3-3's on the way for GuMiho. He is not chilled on these upgrades at all. So, yeah, that Hive can't wait too long because Dark needs to get his own 3-3. Otherwise, GuMiho is going to have a massive window with a lead. Oh, what a good scan here. Sees those roaches, gets a bunch of roach kills. I think GuMiho's traded quite well so far this game. And while some economy was killed, Dark's economy hasn't always been better than GuMiho's. I do feel like GuMiho might need a 4th base. Dark just going to push forward. There's no infestors here just yet, but the tanks aren't sieged either. GuMiho doesn't seem to care. He's going to stim forward, trying to split against the Biles, but forced to stay at top of the ramp thanks to those Biles. Infestors coming out now. They do have that pathogen glands, which means they will have a fungal available immediately. GuMiho needs to be really careful about that. If this Marine clump gets fungled once, that might be big dead. Oh, Dark on the high ground. What's the range of fungal? Pretty good. There's a second fungal as well. A couple of medevacs getting taken down by the Biles. But still a lot of Marines left, and now there are 5 siege tanks. In the earlier fights, there was like 1, maybe 2. But I feel like Dark, I don't know, I feel like he's in a bit of a tough spot right now. That being said, he's getting up into lurkers. 3-3 is about to finish for GuMiho, though, and Dark's Lurker Den is not done yet. His Hydra upgrades are not done yet. His Lurker upgrades are very far away, as are the actual Lurkers themselves. And GuMiho is right on his doorstep. He's got to do something about this. Roach is trying to force damage on the other side in those tank lines. Decent little fungal here, but not the best fungal in the world, and a lot of Marines are left down on the low ground to help support these siege tanks. Huge split here from GuMiho as well. He's just all over the place. We do have a Roach counterattack, but look at the reinforcements from GuMiho. Gonna hold on to that. Oh, I'm getting very worried for Dark here. Dark with 28 Roaches on the way. He's not gonna be able to get to those lurkers right now. This 4th base is going to die again. Roach is looking for that counterattack damage, but I think if GuMiho just chills back at home with these units, it's just not gonna happen. Dark again just running into this 3-3 bio. 3-3 never started up for Dark. Oh, and the Biles don't all connect. This tank stays alive. Yeah, I think GuMiho's in a fantastic position. Certainly a commanding position, but he doesn't have a 4th base. So this is a real problem for GuMiho. He drops one right now. He doesn't have a lot of longevity with this. So if Dark's able to just kind of hold on and eventually clear this up, this could be a real problem for GuMiho. We do see a split here, but there's an attack from the back from Dark, and all those units that GuMiho left at home are not anywhere in sight. GuMiho gets cleaned up out on the map. He does kill that infestor. I think he kills all the infestors. 4 of them are dead. We don't have any out on the map right now for Dark. But he's getting into those Hydras. This is giving him some time to get into lurkers. But here come the reinforcements. It's push number 2 coming out from GuMiho, and just the one gets dropped. GuMiho already has the other one in his name. Oh, and GuMiho ties the series up. What a game, man. That was wild. GuMiho definitely in a lead pretty much the entire game. Dark just trying his scrappiest strategies to get out of that one. Honestly, it very nearly worked. It very nearly worked. The Roaches in the base got a decent amount of damage done. The real problem was GuMiho's actual army. The Stim Marines were always up 2 upgrades. And the Roaches just couldn't hang with them. That 3-3 never came in. There were just 2. There was a 2 upgrade lead for GuMiho in almost every single major fight. And in general, Marine tank just beats Roach Ravager. As long as you're not severely outnumbered. GuMiho was never severely outnumbered. His reinforcements held on really nicely against the counterattacks that Dark tried to go for. Roaches kept getting scanned in the middle of the map. GuMiho was taking great trades. It was just all going well for him. Still, though, Dark made it really close. The fungals were terrifying. You could see GuMiho set up his tanks all split, set up his Marines and Marauders all split throughout the tanks. He knew a couple of good fungals and the game turns around on a dime. So now we're going into game 3. We're on Neo Humanity. It's a good map. This is a good series. Let's get into it. Let's get into game 3. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the Red Zerg player for Dragon Kitesy Gaming. Dark. Spawn in the upper left-hand corner, the Towel Terran. It's GuMiho. GuMiho again going for the low ground wall. I'm not super surprised. This has been very popular. But, yeah, it's crazy that this is like something you see now 3 games in a row in a series. This used to be something that I think Maru did it a couple times, and Beyond started doing it kind of a bunch. But this feels like a very Beyond opening. It doesn't feel like a GuMiho opening, which I think it really shows how much he's grown as a player. That we're seeing GuMiho do this build, which it's a good build, it's a strong build, it's a solid build. But it takes a lot of very specific finesse and a lot of like early game action that I feel like we wouldn't normally see GuMiho go for. Like back in the day, GuMiho, I don't know that he would have done this kind of build. But he has been looking so strongly. His micro has been on point. We've seen these Reapers be used really, really nicely. In fact, in the first 2 games, I feel like GuMiho started out ahead. And game 1, Dark was able to pull it back pretty quickly with that attack. And in game 2, it just did not work. The attack was completely thwarted by GuMiho. But yeah, I'd agree with StarCraft Historian. I think this is the best shape GuMiho's been in since his GSL win. Honestly, that was so long ago that I feel like the overall skill has increased to the point where, like, current GuMiho is actually technically better than that GuMiho. What was that, 2017? Feels like so long ago and not long ago at the same time. But finally, Dark has a normal-ass build. I do love that he's taking this quick third, though. That's a classic Dark move on this map. He really likes to take that quick third behind the gold minerals. This Reaper micro from GuMiho working out very well for him. He's already got 3 fling kills. He's now just kind of poking and prodding against the queens. Might want to go check for this third base. Looks like he's not too concerned about it right now. Heading into the main base. The queens are there. Queens have already arrived. But of course, behind this, GuMiho is just getting into stim and marine production. This is a very interesting choice. This feels like a bold choice. Going for the tech lab in the more exposed position, a very exposed position. Full link surround is possible here. And the reactor in the safer position. I mean, I don't know. Is it a good call? Hard to say. I don't think Dark's really going to be able to punish it, though. There's too many Marines out for the Lynx to go in right now. There's no Roach Ravager push this time. This is actually going to be the first game that there aren't Roaches and Ravagers pushing across the map by the 5-minute mark. So that's kind of cool. And now GuMiho just getting into that marine production factory on the way. Should see a nice follow-up push here. Actually, the fact that it's 3 racks Marines is kind of interesting. I don't think Dark was able to get the scout on that third. Oh, he did see the third racks. Look at that. Actually saw a lot in this main base. There's going to be a lot of Marines coming out of GuMiho right now. So as Stim finishes up, it might actually be combat shields marrying up with 2 medevacs coming out. If this is timed as I think it will be. Dark's going to have to be prepared for that. He's got the Roach Warren polishing off here. We should be able to get into some Roaches soon. Not quite yet, though. 13 drones on the way. Now the Roaches come out and the lair starts up for Dark. Dark he's so good, and I feel like this is just the sign of the highest tier of Zerg. It feels like he never gets caught with his pants down in terms of knowing when to drone and when to build units. It's one of the hardest things to do as Zerg. Some of the highest level Zergs struggle with it from time to time. They get caught with a big round of drones popping as the attack is coming across, or a big round of units popping when there is no attack. And you're like, I'm stuck with a bunch of slow roaches and I can't really do much with them. Dark, it never feels like he's in that situation. There's just a few players in the world that I could really say that about, but Dark's star sense, that thing, that unquantifiable sense of when to attack, when to defend, what units to build, where your opponent's going, what they're doing. That, I don't know, that third eye. I feel like Dark is one of, maybe, honestly, just straight up the best player in the world with that. He's so insanely good at it. But he was somewhat prepared for this attack. However, these Marines are hitting pretty hard. The Lings do come in for a flank. Oh, but the Marines are kind of crushing them right now. I don't know if Dark has enough here. These roaches getting taken down. Nice transfuse on one of the roaches, though. The Marine count's starting to drop. I think GuMiho's going to be pretty happy with that trade, though. Let's see. Yeah, 28 Lings and 9 roaches. Definitely a worthwhile trade there for GuMiho. No counterattack or anything. Dark is just fully on the defensive for now. Starting to drone up a little more as his 4th base is done. Still building roaches, though, which is very important because GuMiho is currently boosting onto the 4th base. He's got a siege tank here as well. Looks like he's not going to siege up the tank. Just wants to take the fight kind of straight up. This means he can evacuate at any point. Roaches need to be a little bit careful here. They're trying to just poke and prod and keep the 4th alive. GuMiho threatening to go into the main base, but the Queens are all there waiting for him. He's going to dive down to this low ground. Roaches can't take this fight. They don't have roach speed yet. Oh my god, but they have burrow. What? All right, Dark just getting burrow. No tunneling claws because roach speed just finished, but I kind of love that he got burrow. Using it there to save a roach. That's fancy microplay. Funnily enough, though, Dark not sticking with Roach Ravager. I think that's a wise choice. Roach is not really the best in this scenario. Going into Lings instead. Bane Nest is halfway done. 1-1 on the way for those Lings. GuMiho again wanted to boost into the main base, but the Queens were still there. But the Roaches, I don't know if they're going to be any match for this. The Lings and Roach reinforcement, though, will show up and will force these units to lift up and get away. I think GuMiho is still very happy with this, though. His 3rd base is now down in position. Starting to get some SCVs over to it. His 1-1 is nearly finished. Bane speed's still going to be a bit far away here for Dark. So it's going to be a while before GuMiho really has to worry about those Banelings. He's going to pull back, though, defend this 3rd base, mule the absolute crap out of it. And I think GuMiho is going to go for another push, but Dark straight for the lair the moment the pressure is off his back. He's got a macro hatch in the main. He was able to keep this 4th base alive. His drone count's kind of low. He's starting to work on it right now, but I know Dark doesn't want to be at 70 drones while he's getting that hive. He wants to be hitting a nice, cool, easy breezy 85 or 90. Dark wants to get a huge drone count going. He wants to get a lot of Bling Bane out. He wants to get those hive upgrades going. Adrenal gonna be very, very strong. Dark usually likes to play pretty heavy lane. And he still has quite a few roaches out, so he's morphing those into Ravagers. Ravagers are excellent support units against these siege tanks for the Ling Bane. I feel like Dark's in a great spot, and GuMiho, despite some nice early game play, I'm a little bit worried. As we get longer and later into this game, Dark starts to get into his comfort zone. He starts to get into that economy that he really wants. He's got Vipers on the way. There's that Adrenal. Once the spellcasters start coming out, Dark, he really levels up. That being said, GuMiho's getting his own spellcasters out. He's got the Ghosty Boys. He can EMP, he can snipe. These Ravagers are ripe for the snipes. We're starting to enter a bit of a late game scenario here. Still in the mid game, but we're getting there. We're getting pretty close. Dark, I'm going to send some Biles down here, but some snipes counter those Biles. And these rocks get broken. Bile's doing pretty well, I'll be honest with you. Where's the Ling Bane? All the way back here. Dark gonna pull back, let GuMiho get onto creep, get onto that high ground. He's waiting. Dark is biding his time, waiting for the potential for a surround. GuMiho, though, gonna pull back and siege up in the little valley. I like the Marauders going forward to clear some creep. More bases on the way for GuMiho behind this, but Dark's going to make that difficult. Counterattacking with some Lings. He's sending the creep spread this way. Is the burrowed Ling under the base? There are a lot of reinforcements here, so that's not going to go too well. Baneling's trying to get on top of the bio. Not quite going to happen. GuMiho going for a very slow push forward here. Trying to just poke and prod and then pull Dark into him. But Dark taking this base to the lower left. Getting 5th and 6th bases on this map can be really tough. The fact that Dark has both and is holding on to them right now is really, really good for him. Oh, and he hits with the flank. And the blinding clouds on all of the tanks. Oh my god, Dark takes the best fight against that you could possibly hope for. And these reinforcements aren't going to be enough. I mean, that is just it. Dark takes one insanely good fight. GuMiho is left with absolutely nothing. I'm sad I missed the start of that fight, but it ended about as quickly as it started. He drops the blinding clouds. He gets the setup for the flank. And GuMiho just doesn't have enough. That is it, really taking advantage of GuMiho's positioning there. I feel like there's a reason we don't see tanks chilling in that valley very often. GuMiho looking as good as he did in Game 2 gets taken down there. Dark will move on to the grand finals of this week's KSL.